Right, today's Monday the 9th. What we're doing is to just catch up, troubleshoot. If we have time, I was going to preview things, but you have your first deadline tonight, and a lot of people are stressing about that. So we're going to really work on that, and then anything that we don't get to, we'll work on Wednesday. And as you can see, on Wednesday, we have new things we're going to start and discuss. Some of you have asked about your back-to-school video that we did. There's not a place to put that in LiveText yet. Just store it in your EdTech folder until we get to that point. So, in LiveText, over the weekend, I sent a screenshot of my work. And that seemed, I was trying to help, and it seemed like that confused a lot of people. This is the faculty instructor screen. You'll never see this screen. I just want you to kind of see what I'm seeing. And I'm not doing this today to call anybody out or make anybody feel bad. It's just that we've been in class for 2 weeks. We have our first deadline tonight at midnight. And I want to make sure that everybody's on the bus, because the bus is about to leave at midnight, okay? And so I'm not calling you out. I just want to make sure I'm getting you on the bus before midnight. So, in week 1, if it's in red, that means the work has not been submitted. If it's in yellow, it means that the work has been submitted. Same scenario that you see as a student. So, in the week 1 work, I have 5 people that have not submitted the work. In the week 2 work, I have 18 people that in this class that have not submitted the work. Now, I could click on that and then it would show exactly who the 18 people are and who the 13 people are that have submitted. But there's really no benefit in that, because you can see based on based on the yellow and the red color coding, you can see if you've submitted your work or not, okay? So, I'm going to go over some things, and then what I want you to do is make sure that yours matches mine, and if it doesn't, then we need to stay and fix it. So, I'm going to log in as a student, and once again, I've got week 1 that I have submitted. So I should be seeing a yellow view assignment if that work has been submitted. Some of you may be seeing 2 red buttons here. Some of you may be seeing 2 yellow buttons here. Okay? If you have submitted your work and then you look at it and you say, wait a minute, something's missing, then what you can do is withdraw. So you can withdraw the submission right here, because I have not touched your work yet. And it is before the midnight deadline. So as we're going over this, you can check your work and see if it looks right. So, as you just scroll down, it gives you a preview of what you have submitted. And for week 1, this is what it should look like. Okay? I sent you 2 screenshots. I sent you one with comments. The first comment said that, the statement is to say what you felt the most challenging part of week 1 was. Am I looking for a certain answer? No. Everybody's answer is going to vary. What was challenging for you may have been easy for someone else. What I'm looking for here is if you've got misspelled words and whether or not it's grammatically correct. Okay? So as you proofread it and look at it, if you think that there's something that needs fixing there, fix it, because you'll lose points on that. Okay? Screenshot. Your screenshot should probably show what you named the file. You don't have to have a caption, but it's going to show your file's name in your screenshot. I named the file EdTech Fall 2013. Yours doesn't have to be named that. I said call it EdTech. Okay? That's all it has to say. So, anybody got a question about the statement or the screenshot? Okay, raise your hand if you are missing the PC screenshot directions that are attached as a file. Raise your hand if you're missing that. Okay, so this is something we did in class, so a lot of you apparently are okay with this. So let's fix this for those that aren't. Let me just kind of review what you can do. So if you'll scroll, those of you that said you don't have this yet, you need to get this file in your EdTech folder in order to attach it as a file. So I've got it attached right here under Resources. So you can double click. You with me? You can double click on PC Screenshot and it's going to open. And it says you've got choices. You can open it or you can just save the file. I'm going to try to just save the file, but sometimes that doesn't work. So I'm going to click OK. What it did was it took it and put it in my downloads. So I'm going to go down here to the folder. I'm going to the computer, file manager. A lot of people call this different names. Okay? And I'm going to click on the downloads. Underneath favorites, desktop, there should be a folder for downloads. And there's the PC screenshot directions. So I want to just try to copy those. So I'm going to right click on it and copy it. And now I want to move it into my EdTech folder. So I'm going to go down to my R drive, find my EdTech folder, and then paste. And it's going to paste those directions there. Now I can go into live text and I can attach that file. But to attach it, I would have to withdraw my submission. Okay? So raise your hand if you're going to need help with that after we go over the next week's work. All right? You just tell me in a minute if you need help with that. Now let's talk about week 2. Once again, I sent an email about this with a screenshot of what my live text looked like. So I'm going to go back to dashboard. Anytime you get lost, just go back to dashboard. And I'm going to go to week 2 cover letter. And I have a red button to continue assignment. That means that I did not submit the work yet. So if you're seeing any red buttons and you're thinking you've sent everything, you haven't. Okay, so I'm going to continue working, so I'm going to go to my attached file. Right here, where it says attached file, you should not have a file showing except this one. So if you've got a JPEG file showing, if you've got a cover letter file showing, you want to delete those. This is the only thing, okay, that you want to have. So this assignment for week 2 file, that's your folder. Okay, I'm going to wait till everybody quits talking so you can hear me. And you got time to help each other in a minute. Get me to help you one-on-one in a minute, that sort of thing. But I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying now. I think this is one reason we've had a lot of people asking questions, is that you weren't paying attention in class. So, I've got, and I'm talking about people that have emailed me at the last minute last night, wanting to, saying, I'm terribly confused. Well, maybe you should listen in class. The folder is an electronic folder, okay? This would be, if you've got other files attached here, it's like attaching an empty folder and then just throwing your cover letter out in the wind and hoping that it gets to your teacher. Okay? You want to put that cover letter inside of that file folder. So that's important. Otherwise, your work just gets scattered. So you shouldn't have any files attached here except that one. If you have other files attached, then you can click the red X and delete those right there. But I want to open this folder so that I can put things in it. So I'm going to double click where it says assignment for week 2, 2013. By the way, if you weren't seeing that, it may be that you never created the template. You've got to do the begin using template thing. Okay. statement, you have a section for cover letter, and you have a section for resume. Okay? We're going to talk about the first section, which is statement. It says type a statement here about how you could use this skill as a teacher in the future. Okay. How can you use this as a skill in the future? You could help your students create a resume, cover letter. That's a good one. You could use it to create a cover letter resume for yourself. You're going to use this actual, I would hope, you would use this actual cover letter and resume at the end of your internship. You go in and you tweak it, you change it, you change the date, you update any information that, wasn't there. You make sure if you, kind of fabricated something, then you change that and make sure you've got what you've really done. Now, everybody's statement's going to be a little different. There's not a right answer, there's not a wrong answer. There's a lot of things you could say, right? What am I looking for? Grammar and misspelled words. Okay? So proofreading. If you need to, go into Word, grammar check, spell check. That I'm going to nail you on. You will lose major points if there's mistakes in that. The next part, the cover letter, the screenshot, I'm going to be a little more flexible. Some people were going, in 9 o'clock class, they're going, my cursor's showing. I don't care about that. I don't care if the cursor's showing. What I care about is if the whole toolbar is showing. Okay? So, moving on. Your cover letter, when you use this to crop the screenshot, it should be sort of kind of like you're just showing me the actual piece of paper that the cover letter is printed on. So for example, if you had a Word document or you're asking if you can turn in one that's 2 pages?
Show how to post one that's 2 pages.
Well, I would prefer that you keep it, first of all, to 1 page. Okay? Now, if you've got 2 pages, then as far as the screenshot goes, it's not all going to fit. Okay? I'll show you in just a second on that. All right? So, in your actual file, while we're here, let's talk about this. If you've got any brackets left, then you need to fix that. So, for example, if you've got your name and your street address and city, let's look at the next section, the recipient name. Who are you going to use? I told you, go find a local school district's website, get their contact information. So here for recipient name, I would click on that and I would type either the superintendent's name or the principal's name. Then under title, I would type principal or superintendent. Then company name, I'd put Greenwood Public Schools. All of those words should begin with a capital letter. Principal, by the way, should be spelled correctly. Check the spelling. There's different ways to spell principal. Street address. Put the street address. Sometimes they give you a second address line. Don't leave that second address line there. Delete it. Get rid of it. Put the city and the state. And then do your recipient name. You don't want recipient name showing when you send this to someone. You want it to be whatever the name is here. And then use some common sense. Think like a teacher. Can you copy the cover letter that's in the book? No, you can't, because that's not going to work. It's a cover letter about a technology coordinator job. It's for somebody that's been teaching for several years. You're wanting a cover letter that fits you. Make it your own. Okay, so it should be short. Guess what? If I'm a superintendent or I'm a principal, I'm not gonna have a whole lot of time. And if I'm, trying to hurry through and find some people to call in for an interview, I'm not gonna read a 2-page resume or 10-page resume. I'm not going to read a 5-page cover letter. A cover letter should be about 1 page. I think a resume should be 1 page. And you can always say more references available or more experience available upon request. You may, if you've got, somebody asked me earlier, I've got 15 job references, but they don't all relate to teaching. Well, if I'm a superintendent, I'm not that worried about where you worked for all those 15 places right now. I want to know which jobs you've worked that relate to the job you're applying for. If you don't have but 1 or 2, put 1 or 2. And put other job experience available upon request. Okay? So, those are some things. Those are some suggestions. Now, go to File. This is how to do the screenshot so that it includes the whole page. Okay? Because right now, if I did a screenshot, I'd be chopping off some of it. The bottom or the top. So if you go to File and Print, and these are in the print screen directions, by the way, screenshot directions, it tells you to go to File and Print. Remember some of the older versions of Windows, they had something called Print Preview. Well, they don't have that anymore. So in order to get to Print Preview, you go to Print, and it gives you a preview. And if you go Print Screen right here, then you can easily crop this so that the whole page is showing, and the markers are not working in Word today for some reason, so I can't put marks on it. But you get my drift of what to do. So that's where you do your screenshot from, and it allows you to put the whole page on there. Does that answer your question? Now, if you've got 2 pages, it's still not going to show you but 1 page at a time. Don't worry about having all of it in the screenshot. That's not as big a deal.
On the 2-page one, I just downsized, like,
Yeah, you can do that.
zoomed in or zoomed out. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can do that. So you can zoom so that you've got both of them showing.
Yeah.
Okay. So right down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you can zoom so that you can get both pages showing if you need to. Question?
What about the copyright at the bottom of the page? You want to still keep that on the page?
You can leave it or take it off. It's just for me. I'm not worried about it. She asked about the copyright that was a part of the template. And by the way, remember I said you don't have to use a template. Some people get really aggravated with templates. And we had one in the 9 o'clock class that somebody was using, and it was just a total aggravation. And so, you can use just a blank document and make it look like that. Make it look like the one in the book.
What if, if you're actually trying to cover letter in for a job, would we keep the copyright on there or take it off?
If you were actually turning it in, I would probably take it off, because it's just a template that you're using, so I wouldn't worry about the copyright on that. Or I would just type it free-handed, blank document, and not have it. That way you wouldn't have to worry about copyright. Okay? I'm going back to live text. So in live text, I want the actual cover letter to also be attached. So in addition to the screenshot, you need your cover letter. Okay? Do you need a statement here? No, you've got your statement up there. Do you need your cover letter in the statement section? No. You're going to lose points if you've got that up there because you can't follow directions if you put it there. That's what that's telling me. And if you can't follow directions, you might need to reconsider whether you need to be a teacher or not, because it's important to be able to follow directions. Okay, any other questions about the cover letter section? All right, I'm going to scroll down to the resume section. Same sort of thing again. Anything that you've got on here that doesn't apply to you, please change it. Please get rid of it. Please delete it. For example, this one has professional accomplishments. You may not have that many professional accomplishments as an undergrad student. However, you might have some. Some of you may present at the undergraduate symposium. Put that. That's very impressive on a resume. Some of you might have presentations that you've done at an early childhood conference or a middle level conference. Be sure to include any of those things, okay, in the real deal. For now, you can, anticipate what you might do and sort of pretend, once again, that you're in your internship semester and that you've accomplished several things. And then you can go back later when you're really going to submit this and update it. You also want to attach your real document, resume.doc or docx. Either one works. So you need your screenshot and you need your resume. I'm going to click on, I want to tell you a couple of things about the image. Some people have asked me about this. Your display size should be medium. Main thing is to avoid leaving it as original. Sometimes our original screenshot might be too small, or our original image might be too small for medium to be an option. So if medium's not an option, select small. Go with a different option. For placement, always do below text. Okay? And then save and finish. Now, I talked about the resume section. Does anybody have a question about the resume section? Raise your hand. Okay? So how do I submit this? I go up to the top of the screen and it's still in red. It says assignment not submitted and it's due tonight. Is it due at 11 o'clock? When's it due? It's due at midnight, but LiveText won't let me put midnight in. Because midnight is technically 12 a.m. of the next day. It won't even let me put 11:59. So if you submit it after 11 o'clock, it still shows me that you submitted it on the due date and that you're fine. So I'll be able to see exactly what time you submitted it. And it won't be late if you submit it before midnight. However, if you submitted it 12:01, then that's a minute after midnight, that's the next day, and it's late. Continue to step 3 is where you want to click in order to submit. And this is sort of almost giving you a little bit of a preview of what you're about to send. You want to make sure that you've only got one file here and that file is assignment for week 2. You don't want your cover letter JPEG. You don't want your cover letter doc there. You don't want your resume JPEG. You don't want your resume doc there. Those need to be inside of this folder. Like I said, if they're not inside of that assignment for week 2 folder, it's like you're just throwing them in the wind and hoping it gets to me. Okay? So I'm ready to submit that assignment, and so I would click the red Submit Assignment button at the bottom of the screen. Okay? Now, like I said, I'm going to kind of let you carry your own happiness wagon here. Pull your own happiness wagon. Raise your hand if you have not signed the clipboard. Did it skip anybody? Okay. I had a student email me about 9:30 last night. I'm just terribly confused. I'm so confused. Everything about this is confusing. And I looked, didn't say which class. I looked her up. She's in a face-to-face class. First email I received in 2 weeks' time from this student. I started thinking, I'm not even sure, I can't even, connect a name and a face yet with this student. So I don't know if she's even been attending class. So, at the end of class, I always say, if you have a question, please stay and let me help you. And I said, why haven't you been staying and letting me help you? Then you might not be as confused. And so my point is, I try to stop class about 10:45 so that, some days I don't get to, but I try my best to leave at about 5 minutes, dismiss you about 5 minutes early, so that if anybody needs to stay, they can stay, and then they probably won't be late getting to their next class. Okay? There's office hours. If you need help, come in. Today they're 12 to 2. I'll be gone at 2. I won't be staying late today. So, if you've got a problem, you've had 2 weeks to get in here and ask me about it. That's one reason I put the deadline 2 weeks down the road. Raise your hand if you have a question that applies to everybody. Okay, you may leave if you've already submitted and you've looked over it and it's good to go. If you need to withdraw and fix something, please stay and work. You've got the rest of the class to work. So if you don't need to work, you can go. If you need to work, you need to stay. If you have something you really need me to help you with, you better stay. You better not walk out of here and then come crying to me later today. Okay. Do what you need to.